Yo, what is up? Just wanted to give a reminder that the GoFundMe to fund our trip to Evo Japan, me and Salts, is still up. We're about a little over 1/4 of the way there, so I appreciate you guys and your support thus far. But yeah, we're still not quite there yet. Obviously, it's a pretty high number, so it's not expected to clear this fast. But regardless, if you haven't already checked it out, and be sure to hit the link in the description. If you can't donate, then that's alright. Any type of awareness to our situation is greatly appreciated. So just at the very least, with a retweet, it would be greatly appreciated. So maybe it reaches out someone who can actually donate. But yeah, I just wanted to show that again. We're probably gonna be doing this until the time of the trip. But yeah, that's it for me in this brief intro. I hope you guys enjoy the actual video. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Counterplay Archive. Today we're going to be going over Lowain, who was recently changed in the Ilsa patch. So this character is pretty tricky to understand with a lot of like weird setups. So I know this character is very high on the list of like early characters that will probably knowledge check the hell out of you, and you'll just lose and you'll be like, I have no idea what happened. So hopefully with this video I can help you guys understand like what's going on a little bit more and how to deal with some, even though I don't know all of the setups off the back of my mind and how to set them up. I hope at the very least you can understand generally what to do about these more general ones that you'll see at pretty much any level of play. And yeah, with those you can probably take those and apply them to the trickier setups that you're probably going to have to go and experience for yourself, because the same rule applies to most of them, if not all of them. So yeah, let's get right into the video. As usual, to start off, we're going to go with normals. His normals aren't too crazy, but yeah, start off, he has pretty basic light normals: +4 5 frame close light, 6 frame low 2L, and a 6 frame plus on block for 5L. His M normals is where stuff gets a little bit more funky. He has this, which is multi-hitting, -4 on block, too far away, or he gets pushed too far away so you can't throw. It doesn't push his opponent away, but instead it pushes him away. Next is his 2M. His 2M is a low, and it's also 7 frames, which this move is pretty good. Not only because it's a low, also because it's 7 frames, and it's a pretty decently sized move. If you guys don't know, most characters do not have a low 2L and a low 2M in the same kit. Mostly, if you have a low 2L, you do not also have a low 2M. As you can see with Gran, this is his low 2L, and his 2M is a mid. And for example, a character like Galleon has, or like any of the big body characters, maybe not any, but like Galleon and like La Diva, they both have low 2Ms, but they have their 2Ls are mids. So Lowain breaks this exception. For what reason, I'm not sure, but they just felt like this needed to be a low. So that's something to keep in mind. It's pretty fast. It's -5 on block, so you won't really be punishing this, but it's something to keep in mind. For this move will be used a lot. Next is his far M. His far M is pretty big. It's 9 frames. So this is definitely a move to look out for. It's a pretty good poke, just due to its range. So yeah, that's really about it. It's just something to look out for. You'll definitely be seeing this as a poke. His H normals aren't anything too crazy. His close H is a multi-hit, also -4, and it pushes him back on block. So you can't throw this even if he decides to no cancel. His far 5H is 11 frames and is insanely small. You probably won't be seeing this move a lot, but they did just change this move recently in the last patch to, I think, basically what it's trying to say is that he gave it this more pushback. As you can see, he kind of flies after hitting this move. So yeah, you probably won't be seeing this move too much just due to how slow and how small it is, but it exists. Next is his 2H. His 2H is known for being pretty bad. the hitbox is probably as big as the hurtbox and doesn't really go too far behind him. But it's 11 frames, so it's basically on like the normal speed of most 2Hs. But yeah, just know it exists, and it isn't the greatest. So yeah. Next into his uniques, his 5U is not something that we'd go into too much on something like this, because they really don't affect you in the slightest. By like you can't really do anything about it. But I guess something that's good to know is that he's pretty minus, as you can see, 44 on if you just did this on like with or without anything protecting him. But yeah, basically what this does, either it gives him an item, either recovering HP or his, how did I just blank out on what it's called? Either restoring HP or meter, and depending on the type of food, it will restore a certain amount of HP or meter. This is not something, like I said, you really have to worry about because it doesn't affect you at all. There's no way for you to get this HP or meter. So yeah, I guess all you need to know is that it is minus 44 on whip. If you want to know what they do in particular, like specifics, it's something for you to look up on your own. Next we have his 2U. His 2U, if you did watch the Ilsa video, is forward advancing. So it kind of shares the same properties as Ilsa's. It's a 10 frame forward advancing or 9 frame forward advancing low that can be special cancelled, but to be honest, he doesn't have a lot of special cancel options out of this move. The only one he really has is 214L, which we'll go over a little bit later. So yeah, usually Lowain players will either do this and do nothing, or they'll do this because that's a frame trap. So that's pretty much all that happens when you block this move. So it's something to keep in mind. But like I said, this is a frame trap, so you're pretty much just guessing. If he doesn't cancel, then you press a button and you should be able to punish. If not, you're getting frame trapped. So yeah. Next we're gonna go over his JU. His JU, this is the only air normal you really need to know. His other air normals are pretty basic. But yeah, this move kind of stalls him in the air a little bit. As you can see, like his normal jumping trajectory. And if I press JU, he kind of like stalls a little bit. So this is more noticeable when he does this rising instead of when he does this falling, because he kind of falls faster when he does this falling. Or maybe I'm just seeing things, but yeah, it's a lot more noticeable when he is rising. One thing about this move that is really important to note is that this is one of the only normals, or one of the only air normals from vanilla imported into rising that is a multi-hit overhit. I believe the other one is Charlotta's. So after, let's see, this, as you can see, I set the computer to block all, but it will switch block after the first hit, which means after it blocks the first hit, it will crouch. And if I can get multiple hits, as you can see right there, it shows the exclamation mark for it being an overhit. So yeah, this is something that's really good to know, because most people are under the impression that the you know, all the multi-hit air normals are still, you know, one hit overhead and then the rest mid. This is one of the ones that didn't change. So yeah, this is something to keep in mind, especially in like certain setups and whatnot where blocking high or low may be a little bit tricky. Next, let's go into his dash normals. His dash normals are good to know, just because there's a couple of different like setups that he can do with these. First is his 6XM. His 6XL is the same for most of the cast, so I won't go into detail on that. But yeah, 6XM is a pretty big low. As you can see, he dives pretty decent length forward. But yeah, this is a low. It's like typical 6XMs, just forward advancing low. But yeah, next we're gonna go to a 6XH. The 6XH is this thing. We've probably seen it a bit. This move is a true side switch, meaning that you must be blocking the other way for you to block this. So just for example, I'm going to show you this off. I have my virtual controller right here so you guys can see. So if you would block normally and try to block this move, you're going to get hit because it actually side switches. So yeah, so something you can do, one, you can react and you can switch your block. You can either hit him out of this if you're really goated. You know, it is pretty slow, so if you can react to this, then good on you. You'll get a pretty good reward. First, if you're late, though, you can get hit, but it's a pretty lenient timing, as you can see. But, like I said, if you're late, you can get hit, and on a counter hit, he gets a combo out of it, so that's something to be wary of. If you don't want to take the risk on that, then you can just hold block button if you see this move, because it does take a while to come out. As you can see, it's 29 frames. It's slower than Raging Strike. So yeah, you can just hold block button, and yeah, block button does the work for you, and you block this move. Although, as you can see, he is only -2, so it's not like he's punishable out of this, so you won't really get any reward for blocking this. Just know that, you know, your reward comes for taking the risk and trying to press a button right here. But like I mentioned before, these dash attacks are kind of used in tandem with setups for the most part. 6H less in setups as it's safe on block, but this move it is minus. So some situations that he can put you in is something like this. He does this and then he can retain plus frames. So if like you're trying to walk back, then he can catch you walking back and get a full combo off of that. Maybe not something like that. I'm just trying to think of stuff like something like that as well. So it's something to keep in mind, like when your certain moves come out. I'll go over these more in detail in a bit, but yeah, certain setups, stuff like that, with these to keep him plus and whatnot on situations where he would be -4 punishable. Next, into his specials, we probably won't be spending too much time on his specials, but we're gonna try to transition really quick into like setups and what to do about them. So let's get this over with pretty quick. First, we're gonna start with this 214 series, which is probably the simplest to understand. So let's speed through this. So his 214 series is his lunging attack. This is 214L. This is 214M. This is 214H, and this was 214U. So start off 214L, which is probably the trickiest of the bunch. So this move, typically on block, is -4. But however, it has varying frame data, which means that if he hits this later, frame data will change, and he can make himself plus, as much as +4. Which is not good for you. So, or maybe +5, my bad. So yeah, it's something to keep in mind, because people will see this. You know, some people might be, oh yeah, you know, it's -4, and that's all you're told. But you won't understand that there are certain situations where he is even plus. So situations like that, you'll, you know, see, if you've seen like a lot of this before, you'll understand why now. Because he's not -4, he is either plus, maybe even if spaced out properly. So it is up to you to figure out what spaces this hits and what situations he might be plus in. Typically, if he hits it further than normal, then he might be plus. Something like a really late hit like this, then yeah, he's certainly plus. But yeah, it's something for you to kind of look out for. It's not something I can really be like, okay, around this ranges he's this frame data, because there are certain like cancels and stuff he can do that changes his frame data, like especially off of this as well. This is pretty scary, as you can see from far M, kind of delay right there. He's +3. So yeah, it's kind of up to you to figure out like being able to tell when this hits and what frame data it might be. It's never guaranteed to be a specific frame data, even though it looks like it might. But yeah, it's just something to be on the lookout for. Like I mentioned before, 214L is the move commonly used off of 2U. So for example, 2U, he doesn't cancel this, then he gets punished. However, if he does this, then it frame traps. So that is something to keep in mind. This is like the only move that can properly frame trap off of this because it's slow startup. I say that, but then that happens. If you delay your button a little bit, then you can beat out these other moves. But you typically won't see any of the other moves because if you do block the other moves, you can get a bigger punish than you would on the L version. Speaking of punishing the L version, a lot of people don't know, but like I mentioned before, this move is -4. So if you can make yourself block this move like kind of normally, then you can get yourself a throw punish. But yeah, if this is poorly spaced, then you can throw this. All his 2-1-4 series are indeed punishable. However, your punishes definitely vary based on the mood. But yeah, this is something that's good to know because a lot of people will try to mash after this, and then they won't be able to punish because you can't punish this with a button. So yeah, just know that if this is poorly spaced, then you can't throw this. Next is 214M. 214M is his combo ender, usually off of like lights and stuff like that. It's combo extender or whatnot, but don't worry about that too much. Just know that this on block, if they happen to do it, is -8. So most characters can punish with a medium normal at the very best. So honestly, yeah, that's really all you need to know about this move. It's more of a combo tool than anything, but if you block this, then it's pretty minus, so you should be able to get yourself a decent punish. Same kind of goes with the H version. You don't really need to know anything about this move besides that it's -5 on block and that it's always -5 on block. So yeah, if you have a 5-frame close L, then you can punish this with that, but if not, then you're gonna have to resort to throwing this because not every character is blessed with a 5-frame standing normal or normal on the ground. So you can punish this the same way you would punish the L version. Next is 214U. 214U is -6 instead. So most characters can punish this with a standing medium. I say most characters, but it's probably just some. But all characters should be able to punish this with a light normal, whether it is a close L or a 2L, depending on what character you are, of course. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, we would be going a lot into detail on the L normal or the L214 and not the other ones. So yeah, that's basically this entire section. But one thing just to point out, if you do see blue and you do spot dodge this, what happens? So you can see I was a little bit too late or a little bit too early. He's very, very minus if you can react to this. As you can see, is -16, so all characters can get a like H normal off of that, even if you spot dodge late. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Next, we're gonna keep it pretty simple, and we're gonna go into his reversal or his parry. I think this is probably like the first character I've covered that has a parry. But yeah, this parry is unique. He has a couple versions, and they cover different options. And then he has his ultimate parry, which is no longer a parry in a DP. So yeah, let's get right into it. So typically you're probably going to be seeing the H parry and the U parry more, but we'll just go over the L and the M parry real quick. Because they're kind of, not that they do function similar, but they don't have frame 1, like they're not parry frame 1. So you can kind of hit him out if he were to use this as a reversal, which is why it's not a valid reversal option, and you'll probably never see him. So yeah, start off with the L parry. The L parry loses to lows. So even if the parry is out, this loses to lows. So if he happens to just do this, then yeah, we'll sometimes see this as a bait for BC because it does actually give him a full combo on this parry, for this parry not being like parry frame 1 and it losing to lows. People will kind of do this in like certain like setups or block strings to get some reward off of if their opponent uses a definitive option. So yeah, I guess that's just something to keep in mind, that it does combo on a confirm or on a counter hit. So yeah, it's something to look out for in those situations. The M parry is just the L parry but in reverse. So instead of this one parrying, or instead of the L version being unable to parry lows, this one parries lows. So yeah, that means it loses to highs. If I can time this properly, as you can see right there, it will lose to highs, but oh, it actually yeah, it loses to mids too. It only beats lows. So I thought it beat mids as well. I was wrong. So yeah, this move just loses to anything that's not a low. So yeah, this move, you probably won't be seeing this move ever, but if you do, then yeah, just something that's good to know. Next is his H parry. His H parry is a true reversal, and it beats out, or it parries everything. So low, mid, and now a high. So yeah, this is a quote-unquote real parry. However, unlike every other parry in the game, this move can be dodged. So I feel like people have probably seen this before if you've watched like some higher level play, but this move, like I said, can be dodged. And what what do you mean by that? It's like, you know, you can't really, like, if you dodge this move, okay, you know, wow, you can dodge like DPs on like preemptively, but no, you can actually dodge this on like after activation. So something like this. It's reactable too, so you can, because it takes a while for him to actually get the parry out. So let me actually turn on the input log and to make it easier to see. As you can see, I kind of like delayed my dodge a lot, but if you already mashing like a button afterwards, then you're not going to be able to parry or like dodge it in enough time. But you can if like you're really quick, but if you already buffered something, a lot of the time it's going to be pretty hard to do that unless you're really good at reacting. But yeah, there's something to keep in mind, which is why a lot of people don't like to safe jump this guy, and will instead, you know, they'll get a throw or whatnot. Let me change this real quick. Oh, I already have it on. So like, they won't do this, or I guess just safe jump, miss. But you won't see a lot of this, but you'll see a lot of like this. So you can parry, you can spot dodge the parry, and you can see after the parry, if you spot dodge it, you are +2. So you can't punish him, which would be pretty messed up. But you could punish him off of this for a reversal, but yeah, just know that you don't have to get hit by this move if you choose that you don't want to. It's just, you know, don't try to safe jump him. Well, you obviously can try to safe jump him, that's part of the RPS, but yeah, that's something that's good to know. And this also applies to every single one of his parries. So for example, let me just that's the wrong thing, do this. It works the exact same way. So yeah, if you're not in like a forwarded or like a 6XL or something like that, then like a move that can be canceled in the spot dodge, then you can spot dodge all of these. And when I was talking about people not wanting to safe jump this guy, you can actually do the exact same thing off of certain safe jumps. It just depends on how low you hit it. As you can see, I'm able to safe jump him with this right here, and still able to get a spot dodge. Of course, I tried a reversal right there and that doesn't work, so I'm not at the ground yet. But it comes out so slow that you can hit the ground and still be able to spot dodge. So, yeah. It's just kind of knowing like what characters can and can't do this. Because a lot of characters can if you have a normal safe jump off a throw. So yeah, it's just something to keep in mind. But yeah, usually you won't hit the ground in enough time for yourself to get out a reversal. So spot dodge is your best friend in this situation. Next is his actual DP, which works as an actual DP. This isn't a parry at all. So yeah, you can just treat this as a normal DP. But something that's good to know is if you just saw right there, he does go low on the follow-up hit. So if you block this and you're still blocking high, you'll get caught. Let me just do that real quick. As you can see, you get hit low if you're just not blocking low. So it's something to keep in mind that if you are not blocking low, you're going to get caught by this and cheesed out. And it does force a hard knockdown because it is an ultimate skill. So yeah, it's something to keep in mind. But yeah, that's about it. This is a normal reversal for the most part. I'm just trying to see, you know, there is no gap in between that, so you cannot like DP that or anything like that. So yeah, just keep in mind, if you block this move, remember to block low so you don't get hit by the last hit. And that about does it for the parry. Now let's go into his stuff that is often seen in, like, you know, setups and stuff like that. We'll probably go over these like pretty briefly and just like what they do and how to get around them, and then we'll go into more setups in a later section. But yeah, first let's start off with the bros. So there are 4 different bros. Let me change this real quick. But yeah, there are 4 different bros. There is L bro, which goes low. As you can see, it's actually a low, and it forces Grand to block low, as you can see. Yeah. Then there is M bro, which this one jumps, as you can see. And then there is H bros, which sends out both of them. Oh, also something to note, that this is not a high. This is actually a mid. Let me make force crouching real quick to just show you guys. This is a mid, so you don't have to worry about blocking this high. This is something that's really good to note later when I cover setups and whatnot. So yeah, I'm just gonna put this out there real quick. But yeah, this right here is low then mid. It sends out both. And then last but not least, there is this move. This move is low-key broken. They nerfed it, kind of, but it's honestly still the exact same move. It's just not used well, it's harder to use in certain situations than it was before. But yeah, this move is still broken. But that's besides the point. Let's go about how to deal with all of these moves. So to start off, it's good to know that all these moves can be interacted with. As you can see, you can, before it kind of like is active, I'm pretty sure you can hit this like as soon as it activates too. You can kind of just hit this move out. So if they're doing this like from wherever, and you have a move that's like covers a decent amount of distance, or you can even 6XL this too, you can just hit them out of it. As you can see right there, he can't really do this for free. There's nothing protecting him at all, so you can hit him and the bro. This goes for every single one of them. So I'm gonna do the M1 as well. As you can see, you get that works like that. Wait, I didn't give myself the cue on this. So like right there, sometimes you might be able to, like, you might hit one, you might not hit the other, as you can see. But yeah, I'm kind of missing my 6XL. Let me give myself a cue to make this easier. This is not normally easy to react to, but yeah, something like that. You can 6XL him out of this, like that. You can hit him out of this like this. But yeah, this is more of like a preemptive call out. You can kind of react to this depending on like what character you play. Some characters have better normal to stuff this out with, so yeah, this is something that is good to know. However, with the U version, this is certainly not the case. If I were to try to hit the U version, as you can see, I just kind of die. So yeah, something that is kind of is interesting. There's a lot of interesting things about this move. Let's start off with the first one being that if you spot dodge this, unlike most normal projectiles, like ultimate projectiles, you're probably at an advantage, right? This move, not at all. You're actually punishable if you decide to spot dodge this move, especially at close range. So something like this, if you were to do that, as you can see, he's just able to punish me straight up by spot dodging this in front of his face with a 6XL. So, it is advised that if you see this come out right here, you block this so you don't take a combo. Like, it's easier, it's a lot better to take chip if you can than take a combo, and then he can set up his game plan. So, yeah, if you're right here, this is something to keep in mind. However, in a situation where you might be like back over here, like full screen or whatnot, he can't punish you for this. So yeah, if you're further away where he can't like really punish you for being, or not in the space for him to punish you, then yeah, you can spot dodge this further away. But it is good to note that do not spot dodge this when you're in front of his face. You'll probably it's worse than if you block this, if they are aware of your attempt to try to avoid this move. But yeah, the little change that they made is the fact that this move, once it was out, it didn't go away. So they changed it that within a sort of like a small time in between when he gets it out and when it comes out, he can actually be interrupted and it will go away. However, you can't do this on reaction. So if I were to just wait for the blue and try to press right here, slowdown kind of stops me from hitting it out. But as you can see, that's kind of the thing in action right there. As you can see, if I do it a little bit early, you could always hit him out of this. He's not invulnerable during this. But if you hit him early enough right here, you can see the bros kind of disperse. So that's the sign, that's the nerf right there. However, you certainly cannot do this on reaction. As you can see, he still gets hit, but it still comes out. So yeah, this nerf is not the greatest. Like, it doesn't do too much. It's just not a valid reversal option if you leave a gap, because you would be able to, like, in block strings, for example. Let me just kind of just show this right here. Like in block strings, you could kind of just do this and it would beat it out normally. That's just how that would work right there. So it kind of stops him from doing this in block strings. But he shouldn't have been able to do that in the first place. So, yeah, that's like, it's still really hard to do that. He can't just, like, if you're in, like, a standoff right here, you can just pop this move and you can't really do anything about it. But yeah, I did say if you're in a standoff, you can't really do anything about this move, but that isn't exactly true. For example, if I were to just have him do whatever, you can kind of reaction DP, and as you can see, that doesn't even work all the time. It just depends on your character. If you have a bigger DP, you might be able to just like react and like kill him for this. Something like this might work too. But like certain special or supers like this, kind of iffy, just depending on how close you are. Because this will probably get beaten out by this, and it will trade and whatnot. But yeah, if you are aware, however, you know, and this move just kind of just comes out mid-screen, you can challenge this with a ult projectile. It is the same property as that, or like same level as that. As you can see, if I try to do an EX, it just eats it completely. So you can, like, this move does have a pretty slow, like, not slow startup, because well, yeah, it's slow startup, but he has pretty fast recovery. So yeah, you can usually react to this like this. You have a character with a higher priority a higher priority ultimate projectile like Matera or Zoe, then you can just beat him out for this completely if you can do this on reaction. But yeah, it's just something to keep in note that it does have options, although it is still a really, really strong move. Next, into the cat bots, or his 2-2 series. So he has, of course, 4 different variations of this. He has the yellow version, which just plus frames. You know, you might see it in a situation like this, something like that. It is pressure reset tool. That's probably like the only time you'll ever be seeing this move, or in situations like this, where it will do this and kind of just force you to block that. Next is the M1, which uses a beam. This beam is kind of scary. I say kind of, it is very, very scary. So obviously we're not supposed to be showing, or not, I don't typically show what happens when you get hit by a certain move. But yeah, you're minus 45, so he has like all the time in the world to get a confirm off of this move. So yeah, what's even scarier about this move, however, is that it just destroys normal projectiles. So yeah, obviously you get this out at like a similar timing, then you will probably just die. It also, I say normal projectiles, but if you give this enough time to be out, it just completely destroys EX projectiles too. However, it does kind of like take a little while for it to kind of destroy the projectile, but it certainly will do that. So this move is really scary if you let it come out. But yeah. Also, as you saw, you can actually kill the bot before it actually does anything. This goes for both this one and the other one, as you can see right there. Can't just kill it before it comes out. So yeah, this will go for all the bots except for the U one, I believe. I haven't checked trying to hit it, but that's like not something you'd ever think of doing in an actual match. But yeah, you can actually hit these out before they do anything. So yeah, it's something to look out for, especially with this move. It's very scary. It kind of just deletes stuff. So certain matchups, if you can get this out, you're kind of cooked. But yeah, if you can, because it does take a little while to come out. It's like 30 frames. It's not the easiest to react to, I'll be honest. But if you can kind of hit this out, and that's probably in your best interest. It's not like the move has anything to protect itself. It's just kind of there. So yeah. If you do see this, however, you can spot dodge it, but as you can see, you're not in a very good position after you do that. You can roll it as well, but like I said, you're not in a good position if that happens. And yeah, so know your timings as well. It does delay its attack a little bit before it comes out. So yeah, that's M Catbot. Next is H Catbot. This move, if you let it get out, is kind of just the win neutral for free tool. Especially if you don't have meter, because as you can see, you can't really, most characters will have a hard time getting rid of all these rockets. Each rocket has its own like little thing. So in terms of like stuff, I say that's pretty bad explanation, but like you can only get rid of a certain amount of rockets depending on the level of your projectile. Even ultimate projectiles can't clear rockets completely, which is very scary. well, which means it's very scary if you let this come out. So this is kind of like the win neutral for free tool if you let it come out. So yeah, of course there are options to kind of deal with this move. You can roll through it with a good time roll. You can spot dodge it with a good timed spot dodge. But the most important thing to look out for, I'd say, is him turning gold when he is far, because he doesn't really have too many options when he turns gold. It's usually this, which you probably won't be seeing too much, or more commonly this. So you can't kind of play reactionary for this, And like I said before, you can like if you hit the bot before it actually comes out, or like actually shoots out its stuff, nothing will come out and he'll waste the cooldown completely. The same thing kind of works with the bros as well. He doesn't have too many options right there. Even if you can't punish him for doing this, get rid of the bros, which gets rid of the well, which puts them on cooldown, so he doesn't have the option to cancel into that or set up that type of set play with those options. So yeah, next is Ultimate Catbot. Ultimate Catbot, like I mentioned before, I don't think you can hit this. No, it doesn't look like you can. So it starts to drill, and yeah, it immediately forces combo limit. Thank God it does. But yeah, this move will drag you from wherever this is activated to the corner. So it's often seen in as a combo ender in like to go corner to corner. He can side switch and go corner to corner. It's pretty interesting, but yeah. So just for example, you block this, and when it reaches the end of the screen, it stops. One thing to note is that you cannot BC this because this thing is just invulnerable. So if you do, you will die. So do not BC this. That's pretty much it. But if you do spot dodge this, he is safe. You can't really do anything about this if you spot dodge this. But yeah, just know you probably won't see this a lot as a move that he just throws out. More of a combo ender. But yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know. Let me check if you can roll it. You can roll it. Cool. So yeah, that's about it. Alright, before we go into his common set play stuff, this is one character where I have to cover both supers, because both of these supers are gimmicks and knowledge checks. So you've probably been, like, if you're watching this video, you've probably been cheesed by this super before, both of these supers before. So let me just show you what it is and like how to deal with them. So first off, we're going to do an SSBA, which is his pyramid, where he goes into the pyramid. So as you can see, the timer exists, the little bar under his meter bar. I said it's infinite so I can just have full control over this and show you what everything does. So yeah, let me turn on blocking again. So this is his L thing right here. He does a couple of hits. It does a decent amount of chip, as you can see. Yeah, this is a mid. Not too crazy. This is like more of a combo tool than anything. He can kind of combo off of this and whatnot. It does hit you if you're standing. Well, it does hit regardless. He's right in front of your face, but you probably won't be seeing that a lot. His M or his H is an overhead. Let me show this right here. Disabled crouching. See right there, this is an overhead. So yeah, it's 19 frames, so it's not something you're reacting to. So yeah. However, he has his U version, which is a low, which is a slide you've probably seen a lot. Of course, it has varying frame data. It's pretty active, so it will hit pretty late depending on wherever it's activated from. But yeah, it's 23 frames, a little bit more reactable, especially if you're only looking for this move. But then yeah, after that he can spot dodge in this. It's just kind of to feint out people looking to spot dodge these moves. And then he has his finisher, which is always -6 on block. There was a recent change in the last patch where he could make himself safe on that follow-up. So yeah, thankfully they changed this, not to be like 2-, but at least he's punishable if he does land that with his 6-framer. Also, I did put it on infinite before, but as you can see, the meter going down, so he's not in this forever. But as soon as this goes away, he hops out of it and he's pretty minus. As you can see, he's probably not -419, but he is pretty minus, a lot more minus than he would be if he ended with the finisher. So how do you deal with these? So like I mentioned before, he does have this to kind of bait out spot dodge, because spot dodge is something that you can do to beat out all of these moves. However, I wouldn't put this as your first option to deal with this if you do have the health to, you know, to kind of withstand getting chipped out by this, because you can get chipped out by this move, which makes it really strong because you can't really like interact with him at all in this move. So just to show you can spot dodge everything, I set a recording to everything in the sequence. You see that. You kind of messed up on the the firework, but as you can see, you can spot dodge everything. You can indeed spot dodge the firework, but it's kind of hard to on reaction. You're not really reacting to any of these. It's kind of more of a guess. So yeah, spot dodge is kind of rough, especially with this move. With this one right here, because of how active it is. As you can see, it goes for a pretty long time. So you spot dodge too early, you'll kind of get caught. And people who try to spot dodge these on reaction are probably looking for anything, like literally anything. So this will come out a lot, and it will bait people to do an action, and then usually he can just follow up with one of these. So yeah, it's something that I wouldn't recommend unless you were on chip out, because yeah, like I said, you can't get chipped by this move. So the recommended course of action I would suggest against this move, if you have, like I said, if you have the health to spare, is to literally just block and block high. And if you see the low, since it is slower than all the other moves, switch your block to low. So for example, let me just show this off real quick. You see right there, overhead, you block low, and then you can block all these moves out, because the scariest thing to get hit by is the low, for sure, because it gives him the biggest conversion. If you get hit by the high, it's pretty scary, which is why it's kind of like, if you're normally blocking low, he only has one low. He also only has one high, but it's easier to react to the low, which is why we start blocking high instead. Because yeah, he gets more reward off of the low, and it's easier to react to. So you can play reactionary like this. And yeah, obviously that's just a sequence that I came up with that's really easy to read, but it's something that you're probably going to have to just get used to when fighting the character. But I'd recommend just hold block button, block high, and if he goes low, then block low, because you only have to worry about one low, and it's slow as hell. One thing that's also good to note, occasionally, is that the fact that he can be hit in this, and yeah, he does take damage. So with this, if I were to go and change his max HP to something like this, and he doesn't recover HP, you can actually kill him out of this. So if his HP is low enough, then you can kind of just like try to kill him out of this. Obviously, it's going to be hard with him throwing out attacks at the same time, but he's not completely invulnerable when he does this. You know, he decides to do this. So yeah, like I said, it won't be this easy, but if you can, and you know, maybe something like this into like a DP, if he's at a certain health, can't help you out, or some type of invincible option that has a lot of hits and leaves you invincible for a long time. So yeah, something's good to know about that. So without out the way, let's go into his other super, his super Skybound art, where this happens. So Yggy is here, and you know, this is kind of very scary for a lot of new players, because they're just like, what the hell am I looking at? What just happened? Let's break this down for you one by one. So Yggy has a couple moves. She has this, where she spawns rocks, and she can change the positioning of the rocks. You have to be mid-screen, this is without an input, close to her, which is, you know, whatever angle or whatever side of the screen she's at, that's, you know, you do that one. And then she can go far, which holding away from her will spawn it pretty far. And as you can see, it does do chip pretty cool. Next is the ball. This ball just tracks wherever you are, and yeah, ball. That's about it. Does do chip. And also something that's good to know is that she can charge this ball, and it can go slow, but it has to be fully charged, or maybe not. It only has to be charged a certain amount of time before it changes its its speed. But then yeah, she's able to do other stuff after that. I forgot they added that. Oops. But yeah, if she does do this, she can do other stuff as well as this thing is coming out. The scariest thing out of this is this into this, which becomes a unblockable. So that's something to look out for. But yeah, her heavy is this, the lava floor. And the lava floor, as you can see, it removes a bravery point, which is very, very scary. And if I didn't have bravery points to infinite, you can see that for every hit that this does, you lose a bravery point. So you can just lose all your bravery points by getting hit by this move. This move is unblockable, so yeah, that means you only have a couple options to deal with this move. Good one, spot dodge it, or you can just not be on the ground and then you won't get hit by it. So yeah, that's really the only options you have. It's pretty slow, as you can see, so you can kind of react to it. I'd say the best course of action is just to spot dodge it, but if you can't jump it, then go ahead. But yeah, it's really not too much of a difference in like the position you're at afterwards. Next is her unique attack, which does that. It drags you in and it does a whole lot of chip. You probably can't really see it too well because it's right there over his health bar, but if you pay close attention, yeah, his health go bye-bye. So yeah, this is not something you want to be blocking at all. She has no control over the placement of this move, so it will always spawn like back here. So yeah, this is kind of just to get you away from her. But yeah, you can just not block this move. The timing is kind of rough, but you can spot dodge this. As you can see, it's a very, very delayed spot dodge because it doesn't actually have any hitbox until like there. But yeah, you're gonna have to delay this a pretty decent bit. If you spot dodge it too late, you're gonna get caught, and yeah, that's not good. You're taking like the exact same amount of damage as you would on chip, as you would on block. So yeah, but yeah, you don't have to block this at all if you can get the timing down. I didn't really cover like trying to dodge the other moves, but you can't actually dodge them if you're out of position to do so. As you can see, I'm able to dodge the pillars right here. It's kind of, you're not really reacting to it, kind of, not really, because the first one comes out like 18 frames. So like if you're in a position to kind of dodge one of these, you gotta kind of be lucky, sort of to say, because she can change positioning, like I mentioned, of these either to be right here in the middle or full screen. So you kind of just have to be lucky. You can spot dodge them, but it's not something you're really gonna be doing on reaction. Same thing with this move, but you can do this on reaction for sure. But it's just, it depends on what, like, when she throws it out, of course. But it's still pretty easy to react to if you're doing something like this. So yeah. But yeah, another general thing is that you should probably try to get as close to her as possible, just due to the fact, well, you don't have to, but a lot of people recommend this, just due to the fact that if you can get away with not getting hit, and then he kind of unsummons in front of you, then you can get a pretty decent punish. Obviously, it's going to be pretty hard for me to set up like a freaking bullet hell for myself right now, so I'll just let you guys kind of imagine the situation that might go down. But yeah, it is best to be like right in front of her when the gauge gets low and he's about to get out of it, because yeah, he is punishable on recovery. I guess one thing that they did add recently, which I accidentally did earlier, is he can unsummon whenever he wants. Instead of the meter going down and being forced to unsummon at a certain time, he can just unsummon early. But he's a lot more minus than he would be if he didn't unsummon with the timer running out. So yeah, it's something that's good to know. So with all that out of the way, it's finally time to cover like setup stuff. This probably won't be too long because I don't know a lot of setups, but I will just give you general tips on how to beat the few setups that I do know and like why these setups are so scary. So yeah, let's get right into it. First setup you're going to be seeing a lot on Throw is this. And he sets up Embro and you're like, okay. So what's so bad about this? So first thing is that if you didn't know, this does not go away if Lowain is hit. So, you know, you can be like doing whatever, or try to hit him or whatnot, and you can still get caught out by this move, which is very scary because that means he gets a full combo off of this. So yeah, this is a very, very safe Oki situation for him. And he can do a lot of things out of this. He can do a grab. He can do a throw bait. And get a full combo off of it. So yeah, that's like the basic stuff. You can also set up more stuff off of it if you respect it. But yeah. So generally, what do you do in this situation? Most players will tell you it's doomed, and honestly it kind of is. I can't lie, because there isn't too much you can do in this situation without having to like just take a guess. If you're wrong, you kind of die. But I'm just gonna give you some options that I've seen players use to kind of beat out certain options. However, they do have its own counterplay, but it's just something to kind of rotate your own options so you're not free to this stuff all the time. So for example, if Lowain were to kind of wait out to kind of wait a throw, you can take an aggressive approach and try to throw him first. Obviously, it's not going to be the easiest thing to do because there's a lot of options that Lowain can do off of this. Like he can press, expecting you to try to take an aggressive approach on your wake up. But yeah, if the Lowain player likes to kind of sit back and do this, you can take a more aggressive approach and try to hit him out. Another more aggressive approach you can do if you do have a reversal, if you see him liking to kind of back up, you can try to hit him out of this, maybe with a sweep, and then do a reversal to catch him, like, so you don't get hit by the Embro. However, this can completely just be negated if he blocks. So, like I said, these are more aggressive options that you can do, but they all do have their counterplay. Another kind of the more safe options, if they do try to do throw and throw bait a lot, is this right here. And that's a jump. So, as you can see, you jump, you don't really have to worry about that. Like, if he throws, then that kind of happens. You can kind of do a jumping aerial as well to get out of the way of the Embro. However, if they're expecting this, they can kind of just wait this out and then they can punish you for jumping. So this move, this option is like I said, all these options carry their own risks, but this is something that you can do if you know your opponent is trying to do a throw or throw bait. With throw bait, however, your punish is a bit more rewarding. So if something like this were to happen and you would try the throw bait, you can just kind of hit him out of that. And if you're really confident he's going to go for the throw bait, you can just try to air throw. Of course, if you're wrong, then you're going to get caught by that, or if you're too early, you're going to get caught. But yeah, as you can see, it does carry its risk, and it's not going to work every time depending on what character you play. As you can see, like, I did this, I still got hit by that. So I did JL and I still got hit by Embro. So yeah, like I said, these are options you can do, but it is still very, very risky just due to the nature of the fact that Embro does not go away if Lowain gets hit. So you're going to be left with a lot of guessing. Like I said, these are not clear-cut answers to the situation. This is just stuff that you can do to kind of, you know, try to get yourself out of the situation, but they do carry their own risk. So another setup you might commonly see is this one right here. And yeah, a lot of people are just like, oh my god, so much stuff going on. He just summoned bros and then he jumped into the air. So a lot of people will end up getting caught because they try to block high and then boom, low bro comes in and then he gets a full combo. So I'm trying to think. I've just got to test this for myself. Okay, so there is another option you can kind of show. As you can see, you can jump out of this before a low bro hits and kind of get yourself an air throw. But the usual option to this is to understand that Lowain will never hit you, like the real Lowain will never hit you before bros do. So this means that if you are content on blocking this, that you should always block low first. It doesn't matter what the setup is. Even if the setup looks different, you should always block low first. There is never a reason for you to block high because Lowain will never hit you high first. Low will always happen first. So of course, this is just something to practice if you're not used to it. If you see bros come out, then always block low first and wait for the high because, like I said, he will never hit you high first. It is always low. So this is something to practice. Of course, setups can be set up differently. So this is just very, very basic like stuff, like a basic looking setup. But usually this is kind of how it works. If you see like H bros on like a cancel for a combo ender, you'll probably see something like this. But yeah, it's good to know that the low will always come first, and no matter what aerial he does, the high will always come second. But like you guys saw me test, if you really want out of this, I don't know how well this works on other setups, then you can try and meet him in the air as you kind of get around the air bros as well. So yeah, that's a more aggressive approach you can take. Because usually he'll jump and try to mix high-low, but there are other options you can do out of that, but that's just for that more common option in particular. And lastly, we're going to go over stuff mid-screen. Of course, you know, the set play character always going to have stuff mid-screen. So off a throw, he can get something pretty similar, but instead, he can do it off of Catbot. So this one, you can also see in the corner as well, off of some situations where he will either do this and throw like I showed you before, or he can just bait it. And yeah, if you do try to throw right there or press a button, you're getting hit by the bots, the missiles from the bots, and then you are eating a lot of damage. So yeah, you can also do the M-Bro setup mid-screen, and the same thing can go with him trying to throw bait as well. So just know that this is possible everywhere. And yeah, the actions you take for this one in particular are pretty similar. It's just that you're mid-screen now and you're not in the corner. But of course, they all carry their own risk. But what about the missiles? Can you do anything about this? Kind of, but it's definitely more risky. Of course, you can DP, and you'll be able to beat out any attempt of him trying to press a button or jump. If you use an EX, you can try to jump out of the situation, but depending on the situation, or depending on the normal you throw out, or maybe you don't even have to throw out a normal, you might just get caught out by Catbot. But super jump will probably, you won't have to worry about that too much. If you get caught by Catbot in the air, it can be pretty scary. I didn't really go over jumping Catbot in general beforehand because it's pretty risky. When you do get caught, you can get forced into an air unblockable situation. But I guess something that I didn't explicitly state earlier, jump is indeed an option to deal with Catbot, but it's very scary because if he's looking for it, then he can get a really big reward for you, you know, trying to take a risky option. Also, I'm not 100% sure of the setup myself because I don't see it very often, but I'm just going to point this out here. There's not going to be a visual reference because, like I said, I don't know what it looks like. It's just something to keep in mind, is that there are certain situations or certain, like, combos that put Lowain in a position to kind of set up a side switch right here. Like I said, I'm going to try to... I don't really know how to do it, but it will look something like he summons bros and then tries to do 6-6H. So if you see something like that, then it's a good idea to just hold block button so you don't get caught, because this will be a combo right here. In general, if you do see him stay on the ground, then block button is probably your best friend, because yeah, you usually aren't getting thrown out of... You're usually not getting thrown out of like this. There's usually not big enough of a gap. I'm pretty sure there is actually a big enough gap for him to do this, but it's very specific. I wouldn't know it. So yeah, this is just something you're gonna have to look out for. But yeah, like I said, there are some setups where he can like force a side switch off of this and get a combo off of it. So I'd recommend, if you ever like see a weird setup, then hold block button, because it is your best friend. You don't have to think about blocking, it will block for you. So yeah. But yeah, honestly, that about does it. This video was pretty long, as expected, with a character with as many like weird things as this character. So hopefully I didn't do too bad of a job explaining some of this stuff, and you know, hopefully it helped you guys understand it a little bit more. Maybe you're like, okay, this character isn't as bad as I thought, even though this character is really, really good. There, you know, if you don't know what is happening, it doesn't matter how good the character is. You're just going to keep getting knowledge checked and you're going to keep losing. So, yeah, hopefully this kind of explained some stuff and showed you some of the basics on how to deal with the setups. Even though you might not be seeing the exact same setups, most of them run on the exact same principles. And, yeah, you can, hopefully with this, you can, or you were able to figure out some options to deal with them and whatnot. But yeah, that's gonna be it. If you enjoyed this or it was helpful, make sure to leave a like. If you have any questions, you know, feel free to leave it in the comment section, and you know, subscribe for more videos like this, because we got a lot more characters to go. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to be doing for the next video, but there's a lot of characters that were changed this patch, unexpectedly so. So we'll be in the mines for the next coming weeks. So yeah, this will be it for me. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, great rest of your night, whatever time it is for you guys, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.